Howdy, Redesert Boy here. Yeah, I did go to the range the other day, and I took my my 32s with me, and I took this here Smith and Wesson third model hand ejector, which I know you've seen before. And let's go ahead and show you that it's empty. It is 6 rounds of 32 Smith and Wesson long, or it can shoot 32 Smith and Wesson, sometimes called shorts. And I took my H&R Model 733. I believe this is sometimes known as the Guardsman, if I remember right. It's also empty. It's also 6 rounds. And they're both double action, single action guns. This one you have to pull the cylinder pin to open it up, where the Smith & Wesson has a traditional little slide latch right here. I did use a Roscoe cross-draw holster from Galco and the Galco FLETC 2.0 with ammo carrier for this one, in which I carried my speed loaders. I did some speed loader reloading. I did find, I always thought that reloading with these, it can be, if you try to do more than one round, it can be difficult. But as long as you're doing single rounds, you can do wad cutters. It's just a little harder. It's a little easier when you have a bullet that's shaped like this. Now, I shot primarily these 38 Smith & Wesson long wad cutters, 100 grains. I shot a couple of the Sellier Bellot 100 grain wad cutters. And then I also shot some of the Smith & Wesson long. Those were all Smith & Wesson longs, 98 grain PPU ammo. I did have one light, I want to call it light primer strike. I'll just say a round that didn't fire, because I actually did afterwards fire, and it's, it appears to be the ammo. It's the first time I've had that happen with those. But the rest of them was all fine, and I wasn't attributed to this gun. That was in the H&R Model 733. But just mention it to you. Realize when I'm shooting, I'm going to use some range video here. Realize when I'm shooting at 10 yards, because I really don't like to shoot at steel less than 10 yards. Realize these guns are really made for, you could do it at 10 yards, but they're really made more, I'd say, for 3, 5, 7 yard kind of encounters. These are, close in kind of weapons. And I've got to say, I did have one shot where I shot this piece of remaining like clay pigeon over on the berm with this one at about 12 to 14 yards, and it nailed it. You would think with that 2-inch barrel. And that was a follow-up shot that I used after I had that kind of light primer strike with this guy. Just in case, these are just lead round nose 98 grain. Just to show you wad cutters, they look like this if you haven't seen them. It's 100 grain lead in there. And for guns that have lower muzzle velocity, I don't think any of these have stated muzzle velocity on them. They might. But generally muzzle velocity with these is going to be down in the 600, maybe 650 range if you're lucky, I don't think any of these boxes had it on there. So, usually if you watch other gun channels that do the tests with the gel and all that, whether it's Gun Sam, Revolver Aficionado, does a lot of really nice tests, and I know there's some other folks out there that do those as well. But generally, the thinking is using a round for penetration. A solid round is generally the way to go. That's what now remember, I'm sharing my thoughts and what I prefer and what I do and so forth. You have to make your own decisions, talk to your own experts, about that, and see what the compliance is in your area. They'll follow your local, state, and federal firearms laws, rules, permits, carry stuff and all that training. So, but a lot of them think that, using a more of a solid round versus an expanding round, because you don't have enough muzzle velocity for it. So anyway, I'll also have a video that will go with this one that I'll probably post at the same time. I'll probably might post them as separate videos, so it's not super long. I don't know how to do that, or I'll combine them. But anyway, good time at the range. And I just mentioned about the steel of being at 10 yards because you're going to say, well, it didn't knock them down. Well, realize these plates were actually I'm shooting at are made to handle up to, 44 magnums. So, they got to be pretty robust. And I can tell you that I think if I had been in at, 5 to 7 yards, they'd go down just fine. But you have to make your own decisions about that. I think this is it's at the lower end of what foot pounds and things would be, but that's not always the full story with any kind of use of ammunition. You have to look at a variety of things. So anyway, just wanted to share that with you. So if you see it, you go, oh wow, this plate didn't fall down. Well, realize I was 10 yards away, which is kind of more on the outer edge of what a lot of these pistols were intended for. So I just wanted to share that with you. So I hope you enjoy the range video, and I just wanted to explain to you what happened. You might have seen me with one of them that misfired there towards the end with the H&R Magnum. I just want to say one thing about this. I love the Smith and Wesson, but this H&R is a well-built gun. I tend to think about it, I think when I originally talked about it as a Saturday night special, but these are really well built and they're pretty solid. So, and after I shot that 12 to 14 yard target, that shard of clay pigeon, I was like, maybe I'm, not giving this gun the credit it deserves. So anyway, as Reed Desert Boy always says, be safe out there, whatever you're doing. Bye now.